Okay. Can you hear me now? We do not own any rights to the music that's being played in the background, but I do want to say that we want to pay our respects to the family of Miss Angie Stone. Can you hear me now? Yes, yes. Okay. Rest in love, Angie Stone. We're praying for the family and friends of Miss Angie Stone during this time of bereavement. And yes, the name of the song is These Are the Makings of You by Angie Stone. We want to say that we do not own any rights to the music that's being played, but it is out of respect and love for Angie Stone. Rest in love, Angie Stone. To the family and the friends of Miss Angie Stone, we love you and we're praying for you all. Thank you all for joining us on today. Tell a friend, tell some more friends, tell some people that's some kin that we are on. My name is Jolene Diggs Massey. We are on all platforms. Facebook, I am Jolene Diggs Massey. On YouTube, Jolene Diggs with Mahogany Roots, My Truth, and on Instagram as well. Instagram, Mahogany Roots, My Truth, Jolene Diggs 6992. Today is March 5th, and March awareness is open your mind, open your eyes, open your heart. If the eyes of your mind and heart are not fully opened, there could be some love that you are not aware is present. The daily word for today is I open my heart and mind to be aware. Everyone who grows up does not become an adult. There is a difference between being grown and being an adult. There are people who walk around in grown-up bodies who are not adults. Often they are people of advanced age and accomplishments. They can be people you trust with your life and worldly possessions. You may leave your children in their care. In fact, if you are not observant, you may find yourself sleeping with one. Because you are unaware, you expect these grown-ups to act in an adult manner. Then in a manner of dire need, when you least expect it, you discover that this very grown-up person has no concept of what it means to be an adult. The results can be quite mind-boggling. An adult is a person who is able to accept total responsibility for themselves and for their actions. They don't blame other people for what they cannot do. They don't employ excuses to cover what they have done or not done. An adult is a person who is not afraid to say what is on their mind and say it without attacking you. Adults have a sense of clarity that you will keep them calm. Adults will give themselves the benefit of doubt, knowing that they are human, because adults accept and acknowledge their own humanness. They can accept and acknowledge yours as well. Adults do not strive for perfection. They see things as they are and accept them. Adults do not fall apart in the face of disappointment. They answer frustration with patience. Adults know how to take care of their physical, mental, and emotional needs, and they are able to put their needs aside in order to handle an emergency. An adult is a person whose attention is not totally focused on their wants and needs. God gets some attention. The adult gets some, and you can have the rest. Until today, you may have been confused about the difference between a grown-up and an adult. Just for today, spend time examining yourself to assure you are developing adult qualities and behaviors. Today, I am devoted to growing into adulthood. So we're going to talk about a few things today. I wanted to actually speak about from religion to relationship. And my question for today is, what does religion look like to you? And what does relationship look like to you? Being that when it's marriage or in a relationship with a person, these are some questions or understanding that we should have when it comes to being in a relationship with a person, and more so less. This is more doing and dealing with God. Um, what does religion look like to you, and what does relationship look like to you? Um, and mainly, what are you looking for in your spouse? What are you looking for in a man of God, and what are you looking for in a woman of God when it comes to religion or relationship? And I know sometimes you don't want to get into the religion thing because everybody's views are totally different. But I'm speaking individually for yourself. What are some things that you are seeking um, to have come along dealing with religion or either relationship? Commitment in a relationship. Um, when I mean commitment in a relationship, dealing with man or woman, what are some qualities that you expect out of those individuals when it comes to your relationship? Um, and I ask myself, what is one thing that I know that I need to change to be in a relationship, either with a man or with God? And mine was to actually be to submit some things, um, being submissive, and to submit some things. And what I mean by submitting things, I mean as far as my ego, where my ego stands, because sometimes in relationships, your ego can be in the way, stand in the way for a better you or for a better um, relationship with your partner, with God, um, people all together. Sometimes your ego can get in the way when you're so selfishly thinking about yourself and thinking about things that you feel are more important than others, or other people's feelings. Your ego can sometimes be in the way of some things and can be a problem for some things. And sometimes if you don't check your ego, you can be a problem. So when I say being as women, are we able to submit? And when I say submit, submitting to a person that you feel is worthy of being submissive to. Um, we've talked about compromising. We've talked about the difference between age from when you were in your 20s to where you are now when you're older. Some things that you had to compromise with being in a relationship, not with just man, as well with God, because sometimes we can have our ego in the way when it comes to God. Some things that we feel like we can do on our own, and full well is determined and seen, and is sometimes shown that some things you cannot do without God. A whole lot of things you can't do without God. So we have to check ourselves with our ego. What are some things that you feel like that you can change? What does ego mean to you in a relationship? What does your ego mean to you in a relationship? What are some things about your ego that you feel like you can change, or you can take away, or you can be without or do without when it comes to relationship wise? Um, Please, by all means, throw out some questions. If you have some opinions on what I'm discussing at this particular time, feel free to post a question or your opinion on the live setting. Again, I got bamboozled by my computer, so I can't see YouTube. If you have any questions on YouTube, um, another question is, what does wife life and husband life look for you? What does it look like for you? Question being is, what do you expect out of the individual? What are some things that you've learned if you've already been in a marriage, and some things that you've learned through the course of you all possibly not being together, not just in a marriage but in a relationship altogether? What does wife life and husband life look like to you? What are some things that you expect now since you've grown to be a much more mature woman or man? What are some things that you expect out of the relationship, out of the partnership, out of the commitmentship that you both are in? Uh, what does that life look like for you as a wife or as a husband? What are some things that you've experienced in your past that did not work for you during that process? And you're probably at a point to where you're in a relationship with someone else or entering into a relationship with someone else or getting ready to get married to someone else. What does wife life and husband life, what does it look like to you? Some things that you feel like you could change. I said that some things that I can be submissive on is possibly my ego. My ego was, to me, in the way of things that I was in the way. Um, and I felt like it was some things that I needed to work on as far as me, as far as my ego, as far as me. Some things that I needed to work on to change, to become a better me. The song that Angie Stone was singing that I was playing is "The Makings of You." So with that, things in life sometimes put you in a position or a place to make changes. Sometimes they're better changes. Sometimes there are changes that have you to go through some things that may make you feel like um, you're not at a good place. Sometimes life will have you at that place to where it makes you feel like you're not at a good place to make some changes. But being that through experience of actually losing things has made me so much stronger and made me to realize the better part of my life is working towards fixing me, fixing me and preparing me to be at a better stage of my life. I was the person always compromising all the time, and it became a problem. I have been there, Asia. I have been there. Sophisticated Queen, thank you so very much for joining me on today, and thank you for participating with me on today. Yes, compromising, and sometimes um, being the person that's always compromising, that's a one-ended affair to me, and I feel like it's a two-way street. Um, it shouldn't always be one individual that's compromising all the time. And in life, I feel like once we get older, we experience things that both of us should be able to sit down and communicate on those things that will actually be better for the both of us. And sometimes it gets to a point to where there's no more um, patience for compromising, and especially if you've compromised all out, and you've compromised to the place to where it's not beneficiary to you anymore, and you feel that it would probably be better if, as for me, I took myself out of the equation because, as Asia said, I felt like I was the one that was doing all the compromising. It was always me having to make changes, and me the one always trying to make sure that my partner was in a good place, and it was never reciprocated back to me in the same manner. So I felt that I had to remove me, minus me from the equation. I had to subtract me from that situation because it wasn't working for me. And to get to the point of me feeling as if the importance of always trying to make sure that they were happy and there was none of that in return. Um, and I can truly say I basically seen some of the signs, but I was still blind to the fact of saying that, well, maybe this could change, or maybe he won't always be this way. But I was always trying to make me stay in a situation to where I knew that it was not going to get any better. It was only going to get worse. So by me saying that, so the question for now is, what is one thing that you know that you need to change with being in a relationship with not just a man or a woman, but even with God? Um, what are some things that you feel like you need to change? There's a difference between a religion and a relationship. Um, I started feeling like I was being used. Exactly, exactly. Queen, I'm right there with you. I was at the point to where I was feeling the same way, and I was like, this couldn't be the way that I'm supposed to feel as a help me when it came to being in that relationship, and not just being used when it comes to um, monetary, but emotionally as well. Emotional, um, physical. Um, what are some ways that you can say today, since you've removed yourself or minus yourself from that situation, what are some things that you could truly say that you've learned that you will not take into the next um, place or field that you have plans on moving forward? Some things that you learned to make you a better individual. What are some things that trusting in the Lord with all thy heart and soul? Exactly. So now I'm at a point to where uh, I totally depend on God, and I seek Him for guidance, and I allow Him to guide my feet. And discernment is one of the things that I exactly pray for. That I pray for when it comes to a relationship, and even with uh, being friends with people or in a relationship with people, being around people, He allows my spirit to be in a place to where my discernment kicks in so well. And I will minus myself even if it comes to me being in a setting with other people. And if my discernment is not at a place to where it allows me to be comfortable in that setting, I will remove me from that setting as well. So I definitely get that sophisticated queen, trusting in the Lord with all thine heart, and acknowledging the fact that God is who He is. And there is a reason for Him being acceptable in our life. We have to totally depend on Him when it comes to um, being in certain relationships. We have to look to Him for His guidance. I'm gonna say that because without Him, He's the main strand, and the other two strands are you and the person that you're in that relationship with. So it's the three strands, and with that three strands, with Him being the one that guides you clearly through that relationship, and with Him, I feel like nothing can fail. And first of all, if He's the man that goes back to there's a difference between religion and relationship. When He has just a religion, he's just having religion form when it comes to God, and not a relationship with God. Because a man that's directed by God will surely be guiding you. He would be the person that would be the leader in your relationship, and there would be no problem with you being able to submit when it comes to a man that's led by God. Because if he's led by God, he's going to be able to know all the right things to do when it comes to leading you as a leader when it comes to being in that relationship. Do you all agree with what I'm saying, give feedback with me? Let me know if you're understanding what I'm saying, or if you disagree with what I'm saying, or if you agree with what I'm saying. Just let me know. Give me something on your remarks, your opinion on. So there is a difference between a religion and a relationship. So with the religion, people seem to go on their own when it comes to just being just a religion, because everybody's views are not the same, and people think things. You can't expect a you from everybody. People think and see things differently from how you may think and see things. Um, a man that is truly following God and in a relationship with God would not direct you in the wrong way. That's just my belief. That's just honestly what I feel, how I feel. And it has to be both parties that's in a relationship with God. And if you find a man that is the type of man that wants to pray over you, that wants to pray with you. I feel like that's a great direction for a man to be going or headed when it comes to being in a relationship with a man, whether it be being in a committed relationship or a marriage. Um, I have another question as far as a person that's making more money. Say, for instance, if a woman is making more money than a man is, do you feel as if that woman is or should be the head of the household, or what is your definition of head of the household? I feel like although a woman may make more money than a man, that still not gives her the right to be head of the household because a man is actually supposed to be the leader. Um, and for a woman to have and be in a position of making more money, you are still yet a helpmeet when it comes to that marriage. That still does not deprive him as being a leader if he's being led by God and being led in the right way to be a leader when it comes to leading you as a husband. Um, these are just my views and just my truth when it comes to how I feel when it comes to being in a relationship or a marriage when it becomes being committed to. Um, do you feel like you are the head of the household if you are a female and you're making more money than your husband or your uh, person that you're in a committed relationship with? Um, Give me some views. Let me know how you feel. Um, if you feel that what I'm saying is incorrect, I'm respectful of that. I'm respectful of your opinion. I'm just saying me as an individual. Me me. This is just how I feel. I just feel like as a helpmeet, um, he is still the leader when it comes to being in a relationship. If you're making more money than him, I just feel like there's no way that a woman can be the leader of a marriage or in a relationship when it comes to that. If you're going by the biblical side of it. Now I do know that people make their own rules and regulations when it comes to you know the breadwinners, but you still have to give that man the respect of being a man. Um, and I guess it would exactly basically depend on the individual too, the man himself, if he's a respectful man or if he's a man that is led by God and uh, walking in the realm of being led by God. The difference between a religion and a relationship when it comes to um, being head of a household, being the man that's over the family. Uh, we no longer live in the era of the women staying home and taking care of the children, although it does exist in some relationships and some households because some men are at a point to where they make enough to take care of homes and take care of family, and the wife or the committed person in the relationship stays home and watches the children. Um, it's very seldom that you hear of that now, but there are some people, some relationships that do and are still in that realm. Nowadays, being that it takes two incomes to survive. Normally, if it's at a place to where um, things that you, as a couple or as a married couple or a committed relationship, some things that you all feel that you all want in relationship as far as housing, the cars, material things. I'm gonna say that things that may be um, extended past what your income may be, and sometimes that takes two to actually work. Like I say, as an individual, I feel like if there is a female that makes more money than a man, that does not make a woman head of the household. That does not make her or allow her to feel like she is the person that leads the family. Um, I really feel like that is the responsibility of man. You have to be equally yoked. The man has to be a man spiritually and naturally in order to lead and provide for his family. Exactly, Daryl. Hey, cousin Daryl. Thank you for joining me and for being a part of the show today. Thank you for your input on this. Very good input. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. He has to be able to make the right decisions to move his family forward and be in God's will. That is so correct. So correct. I am in agreement with that 100%. To be led by God. Uh, so many of us and so many women nowadays try to take the place of being what the man is supposed to be. And I am just a full direct. I'm a full believer that you allow a man to be who he is and who God sent him to be when it comes to being in a relationship. Um, but to each his own. If works for you, I'm just saying for me and mine, I am just a firm believer that a man is a leader and it's his responsibility spiritually and like you said, naturally in order for him to lead and provide for his family, um, to make the right decisions when it comes to God, being led by God, and allowing God to guide his footsteps when it comes to being in a marriage or a committed relationship, if that's what they choose. Um, is submission hard for us as women? Sometimes I could say yes, it is, because when you're dealing with certain individuals, um, and to move ourselves out of the way, I could say that it possibly wouldn't be. But if we're still in the way of it, I feel like yes, it could become a problem and could play a problem in it. So, but being submissive to a man that is not a leader in the household, a financial leader, and the woman is doing everything, then there's no way that a man could be a leader. I'm saying this on my behalf. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all correct me. But I'm saying as a man, if a woman is and you are in a marriage and or either in a committed relationship, but I do understand that sometimes men be in a position or a place where they're no longer able to work or to provide, and then the woman has to take care of it. But that's only because of for richer, for poor, for health, for sickness and health when it comes to that, being in a marriage. Not because he is at a point or too lazy to get up and to go find a job or to get a job or to do some things to make sure that he can be financially able to take care of a family or his family or um, walking in the the fullness of God. When a man is walking fully in the fullness of God and he's being led and guided by God, he is the one that makes all of the decisions when it comes to the household. With full discussion, being able to have a conversation and to converse on decisions that are being made when it comes to the family, and then I can agree with that as well. Um, Allowing her to have an input on the decision that's made, but if he chooses to not be a man and fully walk into the responsibilities that a man has, then I'm gonna have to say different when it comes to that, because you can do bad all by yourself, and um, be aware and know the green signs as well as the green flags as well as the red flags when it comes to that. Green flags are some things that we need to be aware of as well when it comes to relationships, as well as the red flags. Um, and another question that I wanted to actually talk about is if after a relationship and you have moved on and you've began to do your healing and going through your healing process, um, Do you feel like you're deserving of something that's good after dealing or experiencing with some things that were bad? Um, do you feel as an individual that you're deserving of something that's good? I feel like me. I'm speaking on Jolene's behalf. Yes, I feel like if I've experienced going through the bad and I've healed from that situation or that circumstance, and I'm at the point to where I am moving forward, and I feel like I'm so deserving of someone that's good to me and for me. Um, and I feel that God will give me the discernment to understand and to know who or what that individual may be for me or who it may be for me. Um, Walking in the possibilities of knowing and experiencing that there is some good people. There are some good people, still some good people that may be out there. You just have to be available to be found. Um, Nowadays, it's the roles changing. It's just not for me. Nowadays, we have women that are asking men to marry them, um, and if that's what's good for you, then by all means, you do what you feel like is best for you. I am just old school, and I guess if I was put in that position, if it was someone, I just don't feel like I would be able to be the person to ask them if they would. Would I ask them for their hand in marriage? I'm just old school. I just believe that it's well for a man to do that particular thing. I'm just saying. So don't go on here beat me up if you're one of those type of women that feel like you able to ex a man to marry you. Then by all means, if you feel like that's what's working for you, then kudos to you. I'm just speaking on behalf of Jolene. Um, and there are some women that are out here and have done or has done or have asked. You know, what are your feelings on that as a female or a male? What are your views on that? How do you feel about that? And the question is, do you feel, even if you haven't experienced it, do you feel like you still deserve something that's good, something or someone that's good? I feel like each individual is so deserving of something to experience something or someone that's good to them or for them. Um, I just believe in this life, in this lifetime, with dealing with so much bad. I really feel like uh, God has something good for you out here to be able to experience. Just have to be patient through the process. I'm not saying it may come, you know, tomorrow. Sometimes you just have to be patient in the process. Now there are some people that meet folk that meet someone else, and they probably do dating for a couple of weeks or months or so, and they get to the point to where they feel like. But I really feel like a man knows when he's found that individual that he is really ready to settle down with. I really feel like that he knows that within himself, and it won't take long for him to acknowledge that or know that. The discernment that God allows him to feel as a man. Um, I feel that there are some people that are out here that um, are truly soulmates. And when you meet your soulmate, you come in connection with your soulmate. I feel like you both will know when it's right and when it is right to move further. Um, Sometimes it don't take a decade to date. 13 to 14 years, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years to date and all of that before you know and realize that this person is what's right for you. Sometimes it don't take that long. It depends on the individuals that are in that particular setting. I think you need to first enjoy you and learn who you are as it relates to your goals, hobbies, career, and spiritual growth. Then, if God's will for you to forward with another person, it needs to be in His time. Also, you have to pray and ask God, this person sent by God, because He will give you the desires of your heart. Yes, He will. Yes, he will. And me stating what I've just stated before I read what you said, cousin Daryl, is exactly true, and that's the whole purpose of me saying that I believe that God gives each man. He knows what woman would be that woman that he would want to be that person to for him to settle down with. I just feel like God gives that person the discernment in his heart to know who that individual is. That individual that will make him be at a point to where he feels like he wants to be settled. Um, and sometimes not just being on an emotional standpoint, because sometimes we move emotionally. Sometimes we're connected to people because of our emotions or a certain setting that we've shared with that person, being that something that we may have been going through. Sometimes you can have a conversation with the person and y'all share the same kind of emotional distress during that time, and you feel like there's a connection. And like you said, when you learn a person and you learn what that person is as far as your hobbies and your careers and all of those things that you all like and learn to like amongst each other. I think those things are important parts to gaining momentum when it comes to a relationship. You have to learn that individual. And I as well, I think you should be able to see a person when on their good days, on their bad days, on their loving days, on their hateful days, on their crying days, on their happy days. I think you should see every side of that person or individual, because you would actually know how that person is in a setting when it comes to you all living or staying together, because you have experienced that person emotional intellects on all levels. Um, if they're introvert, um, a person that likes to be outside, a person that likes to be inside, you need to know all of these things when it comes to that individual and learning a person. Because sometimes a person can feed you so much, because nowadays with narcissistic people, they can sell you a whole line of, I almost said the cuss word, but they can sell you a whole line of things um, and get you to the point to where uh, you're sold on those things, and after the fact of you all getting to a place of relationship, they flip on you, they turn on you, and then you be like, well, how in the world did this come about? Because nowadays you have to really, really ask God for discernment when it comes to other people, because of um, narcissistic people, narcissistic beings, gaslighting people, people that try to sell you on a whole lot of things outside of what they really are. Um, and learning people, learning their emotions, their moods, their swings, and all of that in a setting of being around a person, to know those things about a person and to know if that person is who you're willing to be able to compromise yourself with or compromise in the relationship with being with them, learning those attributes when it comes to that person, individual. Um, some people can, some people can't. Are you that person that is easily to fold if it came to something that you disagree with? I was in a relationship like that, and she was lying about everything, just play games with me. Yes, yes. And you have a lot of people that's out there like that, and they've been and sold you on so many things until y'all together and y'all see each other, y'all up under one roof, and then you see this person as being the individual that you knew nothing of. You knew nothing of this person or being of this person until you're actually at a place to where you're with that person and you didn't know who the hell they were. Like the girl said, who the hell did I marry? So for all those years and the time that she was with this man, he sold her on so many things, different things, and to come to find out that he was nothing of those things that he was actually selling her on, you know. So I get it. I get it. So that's why we have to be um, firm believers of Christ, and to allow God to be the person that's head of our lives, to be able to give us discernment and being prayerful and being and fasting and praying and praying for things and asking God, being on your face and asking God to give you those things. And I'm a firm believer if you pray and fast and you ask God to give you things that you need or you, some understanding about a person, that he would truly give you those things. And when that person has found you, I'm a firm believer that God will give that person those things exact to what it is that you prayed and fasted for and you believed him for, and you sacrificed and you made sacrifices for this particular thing. I believe that God will give those things to that individual that's made for you. And when that person meets you, he'll be able to give, he or she will be able to give you those things that you've prayed and fasted and asked him for in return. And it will be to a point to where you know it's of nobody but God that actually brought that individual to you to be before you at that point. And just being and knowing that you so deserve to have that individual that you've prayed and fasted for. It's so deserving when you've paid the price of going through so many bad experiences to where you're allowing yourself to heal from those things of trauma that may have you at a place to where you feel like you couldn't or didn't deserve something that's good. I just feel like my life at this particular time, after dealing with so many things that I felt like I've had to compromise for and deal with things that were not where he wanted me to be, because I was selecting them for myself. I wasn't allowing God to show me or select them for me or to allow me to see that they were sent from God to me. I was choosing them on my own, and me choosing, I was making the wrong choices. I chose the wrong ones. I was choosing merely from the fact of being in a place of emotional being, and because we shared some things, or were in some places that we shared, that I felt like it was common ground, but it really wasn't. So, and being with the individual that I felt like that had things so put together once we were married, and once we did exchange our vows and we were married, and then to live with each other, and then to find out that everything that, you know, the promises that you said that you made, you could not keep those promises or those things because it was all built upon the foundation of a lie. And knowing and experiencing God to a point and a level to where you fast and pray and you ask God to give you the things that you need to be able to discern those things way before you get to the point to where you're getting married. I feel like that is a good way to allow God to show you who He is when it comes to that, in that individual and in that person that you feel like you need or you're going to move forward with. Just allowing God, ask God. You got to write some things down. You have to journal some things down. Journal some things. Write down some things, a list of things that you're looking for in that person. And if you pray about it and you fast about it and you ask God, God, these are these things that I'm looking for. If you can allow me to be blessed with this, these things that comes in the individual that I'm looking for, that I feel like is best for me, because you know me as your child. You know what it is that I need, what I stand in need of, who will be able to handle me being in a place that I am when it comes to who I am as Jolene, or you as you are. That person that would be able to accept some things that you bring to the table. And what is bringing to the table? I feel like bringing to the table are things that's not on the table. You add on to that. I may not be a person that have a 6-figure job, but I can do some things to add on to make the household, or to add on to being to make sure that as a helpmeet, I can help you be to that place to where we're able to have the things that we both desire to have. Not being outside of our will, not being outside of what is comfortable for us to live in. I don't want to be um, that person that want to live outside of my means. I'm gonna say that because I don't want to have to struggle so hard. And if it came time for me to be at a retirement level, and I got my retirement uh, thing all figured out and planned, and then I'm meeting somebody that wants to be at a place to where it's beyond me, and then therefore I can't retire when I need to retire, and I got to go get 2, 3 other jobs just so that we can be at a place to have some material things that they feel like they want to have. I'm not that person. I'm not that person at all. Everything that I have does not have to have a name on it. Does not have to have a name brand on it. It's just to be something that's just me. I can't speak for the next individual because I can't say what you are able or willing to do when it comes to you and your household. I'm just saying for me and mine. It does not have to be something that's outside of my means for me to work 2, 3, 4 jobs, 2, 3, or 4 jobs to damn near be about to kill myself to be able to keep up with because of what people may think or how people may view me or seeing me, or I got to be in this all the time, or I got to be in that, or I got to look a certain way when people see me. I'm just naturally being me. I just want to be me to the fullest of being who I am and not subjecting myself to being to what other people feel like I should be. If it's befitting and looking good to me, and if it's something that I feel like looks good on me or that feels right for me, then that's what I'm rolling with. That's what I'm going for. That's the discernment that I pray that God gives me from the list that I have of things that I expect from an individual. I'm not asking for you to go out and go outside of what you're used to doing or being just to make sure that I'm all right because I want some material things. That's not me. That's not me. I think you have to complement each other, meaning where I'm weak, you are strong, and vice versa. Together, we create a paradise for us to live in the rest of our lives together. Exactly. So that paradise of us gaining together is something that we both decide on, something that we both are able to um, compromise on. Like you said, where I'm weak, he's strong. Where he's strong, where he's weak, I'm strong. We complement each other. We add on to each other. And I think with being at a place to where you fully allow God to be in the midst of the relationship, you're gonna have some days. And I'm not saying all days are gonna be good days, but you'll have some days where you'll be able to agree to disagree, and it wouldn't be a problem. Being able to sit down and conversate and come up with a plan or redirection on how we can maneuver through this thing. Of being in a relationship or being in a marriage where we're able to sit down and be able to compromise and talk about what is best for us, what works best for us, not anybody else on the outside, but what works best for us and as individuals are as far as being together committed to each other or in a marriage, what works best for us. And you can't allow everybody to be in your business if you're going through things. You can't allow people to be in your business. And I'm sure there are some people that you feel comfortable with sharing certain things with, but you have to be mindful and careful of those things and those people as well, because sometimes that too can backfire on you, because it may be a certain time where you feel like you wanted to share some things with that person or people, being that you just wanted to be able to talk about it, just to release it, just to be able to, I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say, but to be able to talk to someone about what you're going through. I find that seasoned people, I talk to a lot of seasoned people that are much older than I am, that has been through marriages and relationships that played a part of where you had a disagreement and they probably went out and they probably cheated or they probably done something and they were still able to forgive that person. But a seasoned person would tell you, give you views in a whole different kind of realm than a person that may be younger or a person that may not has gone through certain situations where they understand that it takes unconditional love to be able to get past certain things and certain understandings when it comes to a relationship. Um, and as well, just believing that you're uh, the point, you just to believe that at the point of surviving whatever it is that you've gone through, no matter what it may be or what it may look like, that you deserve something greater, something better, or to give a person grace and give them and even after giving them grace and being able to talk and have a conversation about it, and if that person is at a place to where they feel like they're, I just feel like if you're honest enough to say, well, I don't feel like I'm able to be that for you or give that to you or to be able to uh, be without two or three women or men during your process of being married. I feel like if you're not honest with that person enough to allow them to make a choice on their own and not you making a choice for them, I feel like that could have you in a place where compromising could be on one end. Therefore, you're making a decision for that individual. And this is only my remarks. This is only how I feel as an individual. This is just my truth of how I feel. And if you feel any differently, by all means, please voice your opinions on the live stream. I'm just voicing on how how I've gotten to the point to where I'm at a healing point to what works best for me. And I'm not saying it works like this for everybody. I'm just speaking for Jolene. Uh, by all means, what you made it through the bad, through the things that you had to heal through surviving through those things, do you not feel like you deserve anything better or anything that's greater for you? Are you not so deserving of those things? And I am. Yes, I do. I feel like I deserve so much more than what I was given. Um, and being that I am a person that understands and I know, and God is going to get them. You reap what you sow. Exactly. You reap exactly what you sow. So the seeds that you may have planted, they have may been negative seed, and you know that you've been a good person, a good righteous person, and you've been nothing but good to them as an individual, as a person in a committed relationship, as a wife or a husband, and you know you've done right by them, and you've done things, and and I'm not saying everybody's perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that our relationships are perfect, and I'm not saying that each individual or person is perfect. We strive to be on a perfect road, but none of us are perfect at all. When you get to that perfect place, I believe it's time that that's when you're called to the higher being. No one is perfect, and we all fall short. You fall short daily. So therefore, in prayer, that's why you ask daily bread. Forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us. And it's every day we have to ask for forgiveness on things that we may have done. We're trying to get things right. If He allows you to wake up to see another day to try to get it right, the only thing that you can do at that point is look at what you've done, work on what you've done, work towards you doing what's right and best for you as an individual. Because I say it all the time, you can never get a you from anyone else. You are an individual that DNA is specifically for you. Your DNA is you. So being that sometimes, we fall, and in the midst of falling, if you're not a person that's able to go back to that individual and say that I'm sorry, I failed, please forgive me. Can we work towards this, whatever? And if that person is not that person that was able to ask you for forgiveness, Mary said, go get it, go get it, go get your blessings. Yes, go get your blessings now. Um, and that's why I'm on that road of going to get what's due to me by any means that I feel like is necessary for me. Um, Walking in the light and in his timing. I feel like in God's timing, whenever God sees fit for um, those things to be um, a blessing for me. When he sees fit for it to be time for me, then I really feel like He's gonna give me what I need and when I need it. Giving yourself compassion and grace No sound.
Here we go. Are we back? Can we hear? Can we hear?
Person, a good, righteous person, and you been nothing but
Are
good to
we?
them.
Are we back?
Sound.
Can they hear us? Yeah, they can hear us.
Went out.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Is it back on, Asia?
You can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Doing the Verizon concert.
You hear me now?
We're doing the
yeah,
Verizon.
my producer has come in. I was just asking him, out of experiencing so much bad, do you feel like you're deserving of so much more that's great?
I would say yes, and I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was married and I wasn't divorced yet,
Right.
my blessings weren't coming as fluent as I wanted them to.
Right.
But as soon as I got divorced, God opened more doors for me.
Okay.
So I would say that did happen for me.
Okay.
So I had to release myself from what I was going through.
Right.
Before I could before God will open doors for me.
So that's what I'm working towards now. I'm working towards actually I'm pay for the divorce, and I'm gonna go ahead and get things done because I want the freedom for myself.
Yeah, you have to have the
myself
freedom for
because
yourself.
I'm at the place to where I've done the healing.
And
I've done, and I'm no longer mad.
and please don't think that it's a piece of paper. It's not the paper.
Right.
It's you asking God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not the paper.
Right.
It was for me. That was for the me.
Right.
The paper was for me.
Okay.
But me being freed was from God.
Right.
Okay.
I've prayed and I've asked God and I've prayed and like it's 4 years. It's been 4 years since I've still been holding on, but during the process of me going through the healing, and I wanted to make sure that, okay, God, what if you did not want me to move on from this? What if there was a lesson to be learned from this? Was I still supposed to be able to forgive and then still be able to? And I was patiently waiting for the answers on that. I fasted over it. I've prayed about it, and I can no longer do.
And once God shows you, I'm telling you, it's going to be totally different. Your walk with Him, your walk with yourself, your being blessed, the things that you ask Him for, is just going to flood.
Right.
It's going to flourish.
I've totally forgiven. I've forgiven,
and you got to
and
forgive.
I've moved on.
And see, some people think that just because you got a divorce, you got to hate that person.
And I don't.
Or you have to be bitter towards that person.
And I
because
that's the acrimony.
That is.
And
honestly,
I'm not in
to
the
me.
acrimony place.
And honestly, to me, if she needs me today, I'm going to do whatever it is that I can do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I hate her. I still love her.
Right.
But it's just.
He just couldn't be what I needed him to be. And
right.
we've had that conversation.
And
he said he apologizes and that he's disappointed in himself because he was not able to give me what he promised me he would be able to give me. And he feel like it was disappointing. He feel like he's disappointed me to the point of where as it made him feel like he was really being a coward.
Right.
These was his own words.
And
so I was okay with the fact that now since you see, why I was at the place that I was at, and I'm okay with that now because now I feel like since I was able to be all right with that and to forgive him for that, I forgive him. I always love him. We just can't be together in a relationship.
And that's the part.
As far as
that's
being
the part.
married.
That's the part. If once you can forgive a person and yet still love, then that's forgiveness.
Right.
But when you call yourself forgiving someone and still hate them, that's not forgiveness.
Right. I love him, but I'm not in love with him.
That's right.
I love him,
and
but
that's
I'm not
right.
in love with
Because
him.
we got to understand, and people, I don't think people really understand when God sat at that table and He was able to forgive people that He knew that was going to betray Him.
Right. He knew.
He already
told them
knew.
that they would.
He told them what they were going to do and how they were going to betray Him.
And still was
and we could be in a relationship with someone and turn around and hate them. and hate their guts. You know what I'm saying? But we can't hate a person when you call yourself was in love with that person. But you can hate their ways.
You can.
You understand what I'm
Daryl
saying?
says, well, I think everyone's situation is different as it relates to handling the after divorce. And you're correct.
And you are
because
correct.
At first I was at a place where I felt like I wanted to do some things that was going to be hurtful and harmful, because I was moving in an emotional place. And once I got past the emotional place and state of mind, I just seen that he was not able to give me what it was that I was seeking.
But I'm going to say this. No matter what the situation is in the state of forgiveness, if you trust in God, you can love anyone.
Right.
Because I'm gonna be a testimony for my mom at this point. Mm-hmm. If she could still love someone that shot her,
right?
You know what I'm saying, and still love them and love their kids, that's of God. That's of God. So I have to look at her situation and be able to love people unconditionally, the same way somebody tried to take her life,
right.
and she was able to.
That is just merely
being effective to you.
It's
being effective to you.
It affects you still, and that person went
on and moved on with their life and moving on.
You're still upset
and you still mad
with that situation,
and you still holding on to it.
It's been over some years.
Yeah, and you still holding on to it.
I can understand 1 or 2 years. You still because it's still fresh to you.
Yeah,
but some years into that
or
situation of divorce,
we all to that get back. You know what I'm saying? I want to get you back. I want to
get you back. And
you know what I'm saying? And see, at this point in life, to get back, you can't be blessed in a state to get back. Yeah, you can't be in a state to get back. God gonna make sure
that person is taken. He gonna do what needs to be done.
Right.
He gonna, like you said, you reap what you sow. God is the sayer of all of that. And He'll get it back. May not be for me. It probably be back for somebody else that he may be with. You know what I'm saying?
And he will.
He may get with somebody else, and he probably feel like I was feeling when it came to him. And it may be that same individual.
And
but I do understand that. Before we got married, he was in a relationship, and I think it was just that whatever was done to him, he had done to me. And I'm going to say that. It was a dominoes effect. And I'm okay with that. So God gave me the sense to actually see it for what it was worth, and I understand and I understood what the process was. So that's why I'm saying I'm forgiving. I'm saying when you take the trash out, leave it in the garbage, okay?
I didn't say go back and pick it up now.
We didn't say that.
We didn't say pick it up.
Go back and pick it up. Yeah.
No, don't pick it back up.
Leave it in the trash can. You're exactly right.
You're right now.
I'm leaving
we
it
didn't
in the
say
trash,
pick it back up.
No.
Now, sometimes.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm moving on forward. That's why I'm going on to get this good old divorce. I'm going to pay for the divorce. But
sometimes you got to help them get themselves in the trash. You understand what I'm saying? So if it take you to get that broom sometime to help them get them a push, then you go ahead and get that broom.
Yeah. Go on, push it on
get
in
that
there.
Dustpan and push it on in there.
And I'm pushing it
Lean
down.
it on over.
Down on in there.
Lean it over the trash can and sweep it on in there.
Yes. Baby, now it's to no return, because I couldn't do me like that. I couldn't do me, take me back to a place. Because in my mind, I would never be at a place where I would be all right. That's me saying that when I'm speaking on my behalf. I can forgive, but I surely cannot forget. And meaning to do no evil when it comes towards him as an individual. Now, God has just not made me to be that way. I still wish him and all the rest of them some good on whatever the endeavor is. If they remarried, they done went on with their life, they done found somebody else. I hope and pray that they found somebody that is good and wonderful for them. Because, in life, you still deserve some good. Although you've had a bad experience, you're so deserving of something or someone that's so good. And, you just have to show them a little grace. And I'm showing grace at this point. I'm showing grace. I've forgiven and I'm moving on. That's all I'm saying. I've forgiven and I'm moving on with my life.
And you got to.
Be that it's in a marriage, a relationship, friendship, kinship, all that. I'm just moving on with my life. And I don't mean to be no harm, and I ain't mad at nobody. I'm just doing Jolene. That's all I'm saying.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
And that's what I'm supposed to do.
You got to move.
I got to move on.
You got to keep moving.
King George said, I'm about to turn around. I was
Baby.
going the wrong way.
Baby, it's like
In my situation, I forgive and I never want to ever encounter that evil spirit again. That's what I'm talking about. That part. That part.
that part. I do understand that. But
Yes.
that's just like getting your backpack. Like you getting ready, you about to miss a plane. How fast you want to get your backpack. Get back.
Go.
Pack it on up and get
And
on out.
back.
Get on out.
and do what you gotta do,
And
baby.
do what you gotta do.
Yeah, because I love me some me now.
And that's the point.
Me some me now.
That's the point.
So
If we
that-
learn to love ourselves, we can't accept the rhetoric or the whole
that.
the backlash or
Right.
all the extra
And
that
God
people
won't
want to
allow
do to
you
you. That people want to do to you. You ain't gonna keep
No, I'm
on
not gonna
taking
allow you
that.
to do it to me.
Oh no, I ain't
I know
taking
the
it.
signs. I see the signs, and I know what Jolene
Ain't
is
got-
looking for, and what Jolene want,
It ain't
baby.
got to be no sign for me.
None
All
of
I got to
it.
look at you and say,
Yeah, well, I'm saying the discernment of it.
yeah, I
So,
look
hey,
at you and say,
That's it.
yeah, this
He
ain't
ain't
gonna
gonna
work.
put me in a place, in a situation where I have to feel like that ever again.
Right.
Cause
Right.
he already know he's equipped me with the discernment of what I would need to know to be able to move on forward. But we want to thank you all for joining us on today. It was short and it was so sweet. Thank you for interacting with me, Cousin Daryl. I appreciate you so much. Hey, Auntie Sheila, Miss Nantambu. I do not own any rights to this music, but it is out of respect and love for Miss Angie Stone. The name of the song is "The Makings of You." God bless you. Rest in love, Miss Angie Stone. We are going to miss you. You are a wonderful and great blessing in the vessel. You have blessed us with so many good words and music for so many years.
Yeah.
God bless you. And to our family, we're praying for you all and very close friends. We love you all and we're praying for you. The makings of you. God bless you and have a wonderful evening. That old song says, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. That part. Hit
Right,
the road,
that
Jack,
part.
and don't you come back no more. No more, no more. We do not own any rights to this song. It's being played in the background, but it is out of respect for Miss Angie Stone. The Makings of You is the name of the song.
Did you know she did the soundtrack to Girlfriends?
Yes.
I did not know that
Yes.
until now.
You
I'm
have a
just
whole
now.
lot of accolades, baby.
Yeah.
Whole lot of accolades.
Okay.
And I just want to say at all times, you are beautiful. Beautiful. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. B-U-T full at all times. Anything else that's outside of that is not being true to yourself. You're living a lie. Learn how to love you and everything else will fall in line. Have a wonderful and blessed evening. God bless you. Thank you. Rest